This car is a confusing chapter in Chrysler's history, a vehicle of its era, born during a time when Chrysler seemed to be floating without a clear direction or identity. This car is essentially a Japanese guy who put on cowboy boots, a Stetson hat, and an American flag shirt, but doesn't speak a word of English. This is the Dodge Stealth. To most people, it's just old metal. To me, it's a time capsule on wheels. I am dusting off the blueprints, uncovering the secrets, and waking up the engines that shaped generations. Welcome to the ultimate garage of the past. Buckle up and let's dive into the vehicles of yesteryear. This is the Motor Archive. The Stealth was the product of a marriage between Mitsubishi and Chrysler that dates back to 1971, when Chrysler bought a 15% stake in Mitsubishi. That deal made Chrysler the majority partner of the Japanese brand, giving Chrysler a strong lineup of small cars in the US while helping Mitsubishi introduce its products to North America and gain visibility in that market. This alliance essentially allowed two things. On one hand, the badge engineering of Mitsubishi vehicles under American brand names, like the Mitsubishi Sapporo, for example, which was sold in the US as the Plymouth Sapporo and the Dodge Challenger. On the other hand, it gave Mitsubishi's automotive division the autonomy and financial muscle to grow, expand globally, and fund ambitious innovation projects. In fact, today's protagonist was born from one of those very innovation projects, the Mitsubishi HSR, Highly Sophisticated Research, a concept series designed to showcase Mitsubishi's top technological breakthroughs for the 1990s. From the HSR came the Mitsubishi HSX concept in 1989, which ultimately led to the production of the Mitsubishi GTO, known outside of Japan as the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. And what about its twin brother? Well, that is our protagonist, the Dodge Stealth. So yes, the Dodge Stealth is basically a Mitsubishi 3000 GT disguised as a Dodge to be sold in North America. And that was a stigma that the car would carry throughout its lifetime. For instance, in 1991, when Chrysler proposed using the Dodge Stealth as the official pace car for the Indianapolis 500, the United Auto Workers Union strongly opposed it simply because it was a Japanese car and not an American one. And make no mistake, the Stealth is indeed as Japanese as it gets. It was assembled at Mitsubishi's Okazaki plant in Nagoya, right on the exact same assembly line as the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. To be clear, rejecting the Stealth at Indy wasn't a matter of official rules, as it wasn't technical forbid, but in 1991, the outbreak of the Gulf War sparked a wave of intense American patriotism, a patriotism that, to some extent, derailed our protagonist's path to success. The Stealth wasn't Japanese just because it was built in Japan. Under the skin, everything was pure Mitsubishi. In fact, its platform and powertrain were derived from the Mitsubishi Diamante, which had debuted in 1990. The Stealth's exterior styling was crafted by Chrysler Design Department, led at that time by Tom Gale. Because of this, Chrysler claimed sole credit for designing the car, which arrived to replace the Chrysler Conquest, which ironically was yet another rebadged Mitsubishi, the Mitsubishi Starion. The Stealth was offered in 4 trim levels: the base model, the ES, the RT, R-Star today, and the range-topping RT twin-turbo, which was the absolute top dog. All of them shared the Mitsubishi 6G72 3-liter V6 engine. The base model featured a single overhead cam making 164 horsepower, while the other trims received a dual overhead cam 24-valve version pumping out 222 horsepower. The RT twin-turbo, of course, added twin turbochargers, boosting output to a massive 320 horsepower. But let's talk about our protagonist, the Stealth RT. Although mechanically a bit punchier and better equipped than the base and ES models, the RT was still a fairly basic package. No all-wheel drive, only front-wheel drive, a conventional suspension without electronic damping control, and optional ABS brakes. These were not cheap cars. The RT had a starting price of around $24,155 back then, which in today's money translates to well over $57,000. That's serious cash indeed. So, what did you actually get for that money? Well, you got the aggressive looks of the twin-turbo, but only the looks. You got the twin-turbo's rear spoiler, but without the active aerodynamics, meaning the wings are fixed. You also got pop-up headlights, which were the ultimate craze in the 1990s, cloth or optional leather upholstery, power seats, an analog gauge cluster, air conditioning, an AM/FM stereo, and a 2+2 seating layout. Though with such limited rear legroom, that 2+2 was really more like a 2.5. And that brings me to another point. Dodge marketed the car as a Grand Tourer, a GT, but it was frankly too cramped and uncomfortable to be a true GT car. It sat in a price range where the competition easily outclassed it in comfort, tech, features, overall performance, and value. On top of that, the car wasn't easy to maintain. Its technical complexity made routine service procedures a headache. Though it could be worse. We could be talking about the twin-turbo, which, while packed with every gimmick in the book, was a completely mechanical nightmare to work on. Broadly speaking, the Dodge Stealth suffered from a few major problems. First, it was a Japanese car disguised as an American car. At that price point, buyers didn't want the disguise. For nearly the same money, they preferred buying the Japanese car that proudly embraced its identity. On the other hand, it had fierce competition that offered better execution. Another problem was the identity crisis. It was sold as a GT car with full sports car styling, but without the muscle to back it up. Another issue was the tensions with Mitsubishi. By then, Mitsubishi was selling vehicles in the US under its own brand name. This hurt Chrysler because genuine Mitsubishi models were taking customers away from Chrysler rebadged versions. The partnership became so awkward that by 1993, Chrysler sold off its stake in Mitsubishi. Ultimately, the Stealth was a product of a very specific moment in time, a car that was quickly forgotten as soon as a genuinely American Dodge Viper hit the scene. Yet, believe it or not, the Stealth had, and it still has, a dedicated fan base that truly appreciates it. Although built exclusively for the North American market, a few units managed to find their way overseas. Take our protagonist today. It's located in Caracas, Venezuela, having arrived as a private import back in the 1990s. And it's an RT model, making it a true rarity since the vast majority of the Stealth imported to the country were base models. The Stealth was produced from 1990 to 1996, a shorter production run than the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Only 65,303 units were ever built, significantly fewer than the Japanese twin. And then it quietly disappeared, ironically living up to its Stealth name. Today, spotting one of these on the road is highly unusual, but it's a car worthy of admiration. First, because anyone driving one today is undoubtedly someone that cares about the car and certainly enjoys it. And second, any Stealth running today is in prime condition out of sheer necessity. These cars were so complex that those without meticulous maintenance died off a long time ago. Only the best preserved have survived. With a design that has aged surprisingly well, these cars are true rolling time capsules, a snapshot on wheels of a unique moment in the 20th century where driving fun intersected with cutting-edge Japanese tech, the 1990s. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you like this video, please feel free to comment. It would also be wonderful if you could please subscribe to the channel and share it with all your petrolhead friends, so that way we can keep diving into the vehicles of yesteryear.